What's going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be continuing my beginner wheelie series. In this episode, I'm going to be teaching you clutch out, clutch in coasters, as well as clutch work within your wheelies. Also, guys, real quick, I'm currently at 10,500 subscribers. I'm trying to hit 15,000 by the end of summer. So if you wouldn't mind subscribing, it's free and it really helps me out. Now, if you guys didn't watch episode 1, make sure you guys do go back and watch episode 1 on wheelies for beginners, because we're going to be using all the same techniques in that video as we will be in this video. All right, guys, so what are coasters and why do I think you need to learn them? So first, a clutch out coaster is when we're going to be rocking the bike past balance point and the bike is going to completely coast without using any throttle input. A clutch in coaster is the exact same thing, only we're going to be squeezing the clutch in and removing the engine brake from the bike, allowing us to glide a lot easier. And then clutch work within your wheelie is going to be pulling your clutch in and out at different points within your wheelie to modulate whether you need engine brake or you do not need engine brake to allow the bike to glide at different speeds. Now, why do I think this is an essential skill to have? If you're on any four-stroke motorcycle or any four-stroke dirt bike, these bikes have a lot of engine brake. So if you get into doing any kind of really slow technical wheelies, any circle wheelies, any kind of slow drop backs, or you really want to slow the bike down, you're going to have to learn clutch in coasters so that you don't stall the bike out or anything else bad happens. So let's get on the bike and I'm going to show you the difference. Now first, guys, we went over this in my first beginner how to wheelie video, but first, it's always very important, make sure your bike is 100% dialed and make sure your bike is warmed up. I'm talking about warming up all your brakes, warm up your tires, make sure your motor's up to temperature. So we're just going to ride around, warm up the tires, get all the brakes warmed up. And this is very important, guys, because if we would happen to wreck or loop out, we want to eliminate it being the bike at all costs. You don't want to fall over something stupid going wrong on your bike or your brakes not being warmed up. Now, like I said, doing the actual clutch in coasters is going to be pretty much an essential skill if you want to do any kind of slow wheelies on a four-stroke motorcycle, or do any kind of circles, or do any kind of slow drop backs. And of course, guys, for this tutorial, we are on my CRF 450 Supermoto here, same as the last tutorial. All right, guys, so you got your bike warmed up. All your brakes are feeling good. You can really lock your rear up. Your front brakes are good. Your tires are nice and warmed up, whether you're on dirt or street. I know you don't really have to warm your tires up in the dirt, but make sure your brakes are good. And make sure your motor is up to temperature. So first, we're going to go over clutch out coasters within your wheelie. So what is a clutch out coaster? Essentially, this is what it's going to be. Say I'm riding a balance point wheelie right now with my forks level with the ground. I'm going to let off the gas and just feather my rear brake. And you see how the bike's just coasting? That's essentially what we're going to do within a wheelie. So once again, I'm just cruising, let off the gas, the bike's just gliding with engine brake, and I'm feathering the rear brake. That's essentially the same technique right there, but within your wheelie. So why do you want to learn those? Well, those are pretty much a stepping stone to getting into clutch in coasters, as well as that's a really good skill to have if you're doing wheelies and you start picking up a lot of speed and you want to slow down. Because when you want to slow down, you're going to drop the bike past balance point, let off the gas, and allow the engine brake of the bike to slow you down, as well as your foot brake. Now, guys, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to switch over to my handbrake right here so that you guys can see how I'm modulating the brakes. But once again, you absolutely do not need a handbrake to wheelie, and you should be using your foot brake to learn. First, we're going to get into clutch out coasters. So let me go ahead and pop the bike up and show you what that's like. So I'm just going to clutch the bike up, and I'm going to be shift locked, sitting in the back of my seat, relaxed on the bars like I taught you guys in episode 1. And essentially, I'm going to pull the bike up to balance point where my forks are level with the ground, and I'm going to ride a regular balance point wheelie. And when I'm ready to slow down or coast, I'm going to give the bike an extra blip of throttle to drop the forks past balance point, and I'm going to completely let off the gas so that the bike will glide. Now, the engine brake is going to do 90% of the braking for me, but we still want to gently feather our rear brake to kind of let the bike hang there and to make sure we don't fall too far back. Show you what one looks like, guys. So here we are. We're going to be rolling, clutch it up, hanging at balance point, and I'm going to give it an extra blip of gas. And that was a clutch out coaster right there. As you saw, my forks went up a little bit higher past balance point and the bike started to glide. I was completely off the gas and I was just lightly feathering the brake. So I was completely off the gas there whenever I said off the gas, and the bike continued to glide in a wheelie. Now I'm going to go to the top of the hill and do it going downhill so I can do it a little bit longer for you guys to show you what it's like when the bike's actually gliding. Alright guys, so here we go. Let's clutch it up. Chilling at balance point. We're going to give it extra gas, gliding, extra gas, gliding. And that's essentially it. It may look a little violent on camera, but when you actually drop the bike past balance point and let off the gas and allow the bike to glide, it's very, very smooth. And I don't know if you guys can see my brake pressure, but I'm using very, very little brake pressure. I'm essentially just modulating it like that, and that's what you're gonna do on your foot. Just lightly, lightly feather it. Clutch up, I'm at balance point, and a little bit more. All right, hopefully you guys can hear whenever I'm off the gas, and it should sound just like regular engine brake, but within your wheelie. Now, once you guys practice these a lot, you should be able to do them for a very, very long time, especially if you're going down a hill. One more time, balance point, drop it back. All right, and that was a clutch out coaster. Now, those may look like they're scary to learn, but those are actually very, very easy to learn, and that's a really, really good skill to have within your wheelies. Now we're gonna be getting into clutch in coasters, which these can be dangerous if you're not good on your rear brake. So make sure you 100% master your rear brake. I mean 110%, because this is what's gonna happen in a clutch in coaster. Say you're chilling at a balance point wheelie like this, you're gonna let off the gas, pull in your clutch, and now I have no engine brake. So the only thing that's gonna control this wheelie is my rear brake. And you're gonna have to be a little bit harder on your rear brake than you're going to have to be with the clutch out coaster. Because with the clutch out coaster, like I've said, the engine brake is going to help pull you down. But when you pull your clutch in, you have zero engine brake. So you're going to be completely controlling the wheelie with your foot brake. So the harder you push it, the harder it's going to slam down, and the lighter you are on it, the farther it's going to come back. And I mean, guys, be careful, because it comes back fast and it comes down quick. So if you slam on your rear brake, that bike is going to slam down really fast. And if you mess up on your rear brake, you won't even know it yet, but you'll be sitting on the ground and your bike will be wheeling away from you. I know from experience, because that exact same thing happened to me when I was learning clutch in coasters, because the bike comes back so quick. Now, I don't want that to intimidate you, because I'm going to teach you the proper technique to get these down. So essentially, guys, make sure you're really locked into the bike, you're shift locked, you're gripping the bike. You don't want anything weird happening so that you could slide off the bike. Now you're going to do the same exact technique for the clutch out coaster as you will the clutch in coaster. You're going to ride balance point, you're going to give it a little bit extra blip of gas, and as the bike's coming up, you're going to pull in your clutch. Now you will instantly feel the bike turn weightless, and as soon as you pull in that clutch, you're going to have to catch the wheelie with your brake. So you're almost going to do this all in one motion. You're going to be off the gas, on the clutch, brake, all in one motion. You essentially want to catch your clutch coaster with the rear brake. As soon as you catch it and you're within your clutch coaster, that's how you can determine how much height you want. You can let off the brake to bring the bike back farther if you want to go for something like a scrape, or you just want to be a little bit deeper. And you can be in the brake a little bit more if you want to try to chill it somewhere around balance point. Now the thing is with straight line coasters, guys, speed is and isn't your friend. Now what do I mean by that? It's pretty much essential that you should learn these slow, because you probably will fall on these, and if you don't, it's still good to learn these slow. But if you're going faster when you do a clutch coaster, you can glide the clutch coaster way, way farther, but that's more of an advanced technique. So first learn the slow clutch coasters, and once you feel really, really comfortable modulating your rear brake and catching it with the brake and everything, then you can go for a little bit farther coasters by gaining more speed and then popping into your coaster. So let me show you what a clutch in coaster looks like. Now, like I said, guys, I'm gonna clutch it up just like normal. I'm gonna rock it up to balance point. I'm gonna give it a hair of gas, pull the clutch in, and catch it with the brake, pretty much all simultaneously. So here we go. Clutching it up, regular balance point wheelie, and clutch in, rear brake. You can see what happened there. I was riding a regular wheelie, I gave an extra blip of gas, pulled my clutch in, and the bike went weightless, and I was controlling the wheelie with the brake. So let's do another one. Okay, balance point wheelie, extra blip of gas, clutch in, controlling it with the brake. Hopefully you could hear the engine of the bike almost shut off when I pulled the clutch in. Now let's do one downhill and see if I can ride it a little bit farther. So wheelie, balance point, clutch in. Right now I'm clutch coasting. As soon as I pull that clutch in, I just give the brake a little bit of pressure, and that's enough to catch it. Now, when I'm within that clutch coaster, I'm very, very gentle, feathering my rear brake to modulate the height that I want the coaster at. Now, when you're learning, you probably will accidentally hit it too hard and slam the bike down hard. That's all right, but just be aware when the bike does come down, if you hit the brake too hard, it'll come down hard. Okay, balance point wheelie, clutch in, I'm on the brake. Clutch coaster right there, guys. Now, like I said, the more speed that you have going into one of these, the longer you can ride it. But just make sure that you have slow clutch coasters 100% down before you try to go faster, because if you don't and you fall fast, that's not going to feel good. Now, if you do pull your clutch in and the bike falls, that just means that you're not up high enough when you pulled your clutch in. So let's do another one here, guys. Balance point, clutch in, and I'm clutch coasting right now. Just like that, guys. Now, if you guys noticed, even though I'm gentle on the controls, the bike still comes down a little bit hard. So this is when we're going to get into clutch control within your clutch coasters. Now, what do I mean by clutch control within your clutch coasters? I mean modulating the clutch in and out at different points in your wheelie so that you can alleviate that slamming down, and you can also continue to ride wheelies longer. Because after your clutch coaster, you can let the clutch back out gently and maintain your wheelie just as you were. Let me show you what this looks like, and then I will explain how we can do it. Okay, so you're going to do a completely normal clutch coaster like you've been. And you're going to let the clutch out, and you can start getting into your wheelie again. I'm going to clutch it up, ride balance point, clutch coaster, clutch out, I'm back into my wheelie. So how do you go about that? Well, guys, this is something you have to be careful about, because by now, hopefully, you've done hundreds of clutch up wheelies. It's almost an instinct to try to clutch the wheelie up again within the wheelie. Now, that sounds crazy, and you might think, I would never do that, but sometimes you will, completely on accident. The other day, I've done hundreds of clutch coaster wheelies. The other day, I was down here, and I went to go release my clutch and accidentally tried to do a clutch up wheelie within my clutch coaster wheelie. Luckily, I saved it with the rear brake, but you can definitely get really, really sketchy if you allow that to happen. So let me explain this on flat ground before we go over it in a wheelie. Say you're doing a balance point wheelie, you rock it up, you squeeze in a clutch, you're coasting. Now you want to get back into your wheelie. All you're going to do is gently, as you can see, gently release your clutch and get back into the gas very gently, guys. You do not want to give it a ton of gas, especially if the bike's up high, because it could catch you off guard and throw you back very fast, and we do not want that. So it's good to learn these very, very slowly. And what I would recommend doing after your clutch coaster wheelie, when you're ready to set it down, use your brake to set it down, and as you're coming down, just release your clutch. And that'll get you in the habit of gently releasing your clutch, and when you're feeling confident enough, you can release the clutch and start to give it a little bit of gas. And you can start to throttle out little by little by little and start taking it higher and higher, so that you can actually learn slowly to get it back up to balance point after your clutch up wheelie. So right here, coaster, back into clutch. And I was back in my wheelie. Now granted, that was not a long coaster. I didn't throw it up hard enough. So let's do another one here. Coaster. And I let off the clutch, I'm back in my wheelie. Coaster, back into my wheelie. That's how I would recommend learning. Just slowly like that, doing little coasters so that you can get used to getting on and off that clutch. Alright guys, well that's essentially it. This trick is mainly seat time. You just got to get out and figure it out. I hope the tips in this video and my first video helped you to get to this point. And once you are at this point, guys, this is when you can start trying more and more advanced tricks. And doing scrapes is just always one of them cool tricks that always impresses people, and it was always one of my dream tricks. And it all stems from learning the clutch coaster. And just like that, guys, there's a little scrape for you. Alright guys, well I hope part 2 of the beginner wheelie series really helped you guys, and hopefully you guys will be picking up on the clutch in and clutch out coasters very soon. And guys, if you made it this far, I'm going to be dropping part 3 of the beginner wheelie series pretty soon, and in that series we're going to be going over how to turn your bike within a wheelie, as well as shifting gears. And as always guys, if you made it this far, make sure you drop a like, and like I said, subscribe down below. It's free. I'm trying to hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of summer. And thanks for watching guys.